Good morning and welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, meeting out here on Airport Boulevard at 4 Points by Sheraton. So glad you're with us this morning. My name is Marianne Atwell Hardy. I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here, and we're going to begin the day as we always do with a meditation. So I'm going to do a little reading and then we'll get quiet and open our hearts, our ears, our inner eyes to what will follow. So given that this is a new year, a lot of us like to set resolutions or intentions. And a resolution often means I will not do ever. Well, that one typically gets broken pretty early. So setting an intention for whatever it is that you want in life is taking that first step to be able to realize your dream. And I came across this reading by Goethe. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Begin it now. Another saying that I saw was, ships are safe in the harbor, but they weren't meant to stay there. So how can each of us start to dream without the buts, without the yes, oh, but can't do that? And I'm going to read something from Kate Bowler. This life is made up of so many beginnings and so many endings. We start new jobs and leave old ones. We move to new cities and leave our childhood hobbies in our parents' basement. Sorry, Mom. We become new people slowly, hopefully kinder and funnier. Friendships and relationships come and go. Dreams blossom and then they wither. And we find ourselves here once again at the precipice of change, afraid to let go and afraid of what will happen if we don't. Might this be a place of blessing too? Blessed are we standing in the hallway between closed doors and ones still to come, between the old and the new, between the worn in and the doesn't quite yet fit, between who we were and who we might become. God, make it remotely possible to grow and change, become open to new adventures and untethered to routine or the same old. Because the anxiety rising in my shoulders and filling my throat tells me that I am unwilling to step forward. Blessed are we who take a minute to look over our shoulder at all we learned from what was, the people we became, the people who loved us into becoming, the peace that came with familiarity. Blessed are we who trust this timing and who open our hearts anew to change, to new friends, to hope, nervous, maybe heavy-hearted, but brimming with gratitude for a life so beautiful that it hurts to say goodbye. Blessed are we turning our eyes ahead toward a new path not yet mapped. God, give us the courage to take this next step, and enough for the one after that too. Remind us that you have gone before and behind and around and are with us now. In our leaving, in our arriving, in our changes, expected or shocking, surprise us with who we might become. So holding that closely and being able to tap into that feeling, not just the thought, the feeling of who we are to become, because that is already within us anyway. We just need to let it out. So let yourself dream, let yourself feel it, let yourself take that first step. And now let's get quiet and meditate on that. God is the wind beneath our sails. Take your ship out of the harbor. Set your navigation system on whatever intention you have for this new year. And know that it's all possible. Thank you for being part of the meditation, for preparing yourself as well as the space here for what will come next. So I will see you at 10:15. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. That was a pretty jazzy entrance music and video. Thank you very much, Heather Abbott. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living and our Sunday celebration service. Whether you are here in the sanctuary at 4 Points by Sheridan or you have invited us into your home through the power of live streaming, I am very grateful that you are a part of this day, a part of this celebration, a part of our first Sunday of 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the honor and privilege of being this community's spiritual director. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We are a spiritual community that can support you as you strive for your own personal relationship with God. A spiritual community where you are respected and accepted and honored just for being who you are. A space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support to assist you to grow into your highest and best self. You are welcome here no matter where you are on your spiritual path. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and there are approximately 450 Centers for Spiritual Living and teaching chapters and special focus ministries in over 30 countries worldwide. Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive faith, philosophy, and way of life that is dedicated to transforming lives by providing powerful spiritual practices and principles for our individual lives and for exploring possibilities to assist the world to become a world that actually works for all. So we're very glad that you have joined us, that you've brought your consciousness with you today, and that you are part of our celebration. January is Bring a Friend, Share the Joy month, and we have a couple of guests with us today, and I'm not going to make them stand up or to do anything that they might not want to do, but let's just welcome them anyway. So we're very grateful that you have joined us, and we'll talk about it later, but we have lunch bunch today, and we would love for you to join us later. We'll talk about that. Our flower dedication today, as always on the first Sunday of every month, is for all of the people who are celebrating their birthdays that month. So today, these flowers are for all of the people that are celebrating their birthdays in January. Is there anyone in the room that is celebrating their birthday this month? Yes, all right. Excellent, that's wonderful. And also for all of you at home. I invite the rest of us to hold our hands out to Mary and to repeat after me. We see you. We know who you really are. We celebrate the day that you arrived on the planet. We're grateful for your presence in our community. And we love you. So for everyone here or out there that is celebrating your birthday, let's all sing along with Sandy.
Happy birthday, dear Januaries. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Januaries. Happy birthday to you.
So, as I was saying before, I would love to invite everyone, and most specifically all of the birthday celebrant and our guests this morning and their hosts to please join us for a lunch bunch in your honor. We'll meet at Lugano Restaurante at 1060 Darrington Drive, 1060 Darrington Drive in Cary. For those of you that are at home, I'm sure that there will be plenty of time for you to jump in your cars and get on over to Lugano's and join us for lunch bunch. Please let Heather or I know that if you are planning on joining us so that we can make sure the restaurant is ready for the throng that is going to be coming. I would like to thank Marianne Atwell Hardy for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. Thank you very much, Marianne. And now please welcome Sean Shockey as he comes forward to brilliantly do our announcements.
Good morning, everybody. Briefly while I was sitting there, I was thinking about last night. Whenever I went to bed, I said, I don't think I'm going to go to church. Well, if you look, I'm here. I found myself up this morning, going to the bathroom to get dressed and everything else. What's the point of that? Well, sometimes spirit says differently, and I am where I'm supposed to be today. It has already been worth it just, seeing your face. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to see you all. Anyway, my job is to do announcements. But y'all know me by now. So here we go. January 2025 is Bring a Friend, Share the Joy Month. The invitation is for each of us to invite at least one friend to join us for at least one Sunday service. We would not be mad if you were to invite more than one friend or more than one Sunday. Each Sunday, we will hold a raffle for the guests and a raffle for the host. There will be other giveaways for all. After every service, we will also be holding a special event. For example, Lunch Bunch on the first Sunday, Rap with Rev on the second Sunday, Bingo with John Carnes on the third Sunday, and a prayer workshop on the fourth. Mark your calendars and reach out to some friends for Bring a Friend, Share the Joy January. Our Wednesday evening services for 2025 are called the Wednesday Experience, a look at life through meditation, musings, metaphysics, and magic. Each week, the evening will be facilitated by a host of ministers, practitioners, and others who will share an insightful, revealing, and perhaps provocative reading or story, and then facilitate a meditation. Following the meditation, we will all have an opportunity to share ideas with each other around the reading or story and whatever came up for us during the meditation. The service will once again be held on Zoom, 7 to 8:15. Spiritual education is one of the many ways that we grow spiritually. Classes go way beyond the Sunday morning experience by providing a consistent, ongoing environment for the student to self-reflect, self-study, and expand the scope of spiritual experience and knowledge. Participating in classes and workshops fosters community and soul companions in a way that few other activities can. This is a save the date announcement and an invitation to participate in our Foundations class. The Foundations class is a 10-week entry-level class for the study of the science of mind. It is a personal exploration of the 10 core concepts of science of mind, philosophy, faith, and way of life, and their application to the process of daily living. Discover and express the power, creativity, freedom, abundance, and joy that lie within you. Learn about one cosmic reality, how to forgive the past, live in the present, and consciously design your future. You will complete this class with increased poise, confidence, and power in every area of your life. The Foundations class is required for anyone wishing to serve as a team and our home group leader or on our leadership council. The length of the course is 10 weeks beginning Tuesday, February 4th and running through Tuesday, April 8th. The class is held on Zoom from 6:30 through 9:30 p.m. There is also one full day prayer workshop on Saturday, March 8th from 9 a.m. through 4 p.m. The cost is $250. You can hold your place by registering with a $25 deposit. The text we will be using is The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, another book. Living the Science of Mind, also by Ernest Holmes. It's recommended but not mandatory. Please consider joining us for this wonderful class. It is truly a game changer. Mark your calendars for our annual Super Bowl and Chili Cook-Off on Sunday, February 9th. We have been doing this for many years, and it always proves to be a very fun evening of great food and fellowship. The cost of the evening is $5 for a large pot of your favorite chili. The winners receive cash prizes, a trophy, and of course, bragging rights. Please RSVP to info@trianglecsl.org with the number of people in your party and whether you will be bringing chili for the contest. Please welcome Mary Ann Artwell Hardy back to the podium.
All right. The theme for the year 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. Our theme for the month of January is Stretching into Possibility. Rev Dusty's message today is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So now I invite you to turn within, close your outer eyes, and listen to the sound of the singing bowls. Just let them wash over you all the way to the end. I now invite you to bring your attention back into the room and into your body. And I would like to invite Betty and BJ up to help with our blessing of all faiths. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as representative of this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the path of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings, everywhere, with no exception. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you. Now I invite Heather Abbott up to the podium.
Thank you, Marianne. Now I invite you to turn within as I speak a word of blessing on today's service. Taking a deep breath and blowing it out. Relaxing into this still small moment. Recognizing this opportunity to gather. To recognize that one spirit, that one presence, that one power back of all of creation. I know that presence is God, but it goes by many names, and by whatever name that you call it. It is that source and power from which we've come. It is that which connects each of us through that golden thread of God stuff. It is peace, love, and joy. It is perfection. It is that amazing creative force of the universe. I know that I am one with that force. I am one with all that is. I know that is the truth of me, as I know that is the truth of each of us. Each person within the sound of my voice, each sentient being on this planet. We are all connected. There is no separation between us and spirit. I speak a blessing today on Reverend Dusty as she comes forward with her first Sunday message of the year, knowing that she is a conduit for spirit, that we all are listening with open minds and open hearts, open to that jewel that land on our heart today, that will allow us to go through our week a little more inspired, a little more trusting, a little more grateful. I speak a word of blessing on Sandy as he comes forth to share his gift of music with us this morning. So grateful for his service to our community, for his amazing talent. Blessing Mary Ann for her beautiful meditation, for her service to our community. Blessing Ava in the AV booth. So grateful for her presence and for her skills, talents, and willingness to serve. So grateful for each person that's here in person at 4 Points, each person that's watching online in this moment or in the future. So grateful for every bright, shining soul that makes up this community, that makes us who we are, that allows us to do the good work that we do in the world. For all these blessings, I'm grateful. Please anchor this with me by saying, and so it is. Today's reading is entitled Rise Up My Soul, and it is from a divine download received by our Reverend Dusty. Rise up, my soul, and be the space of unlimited joy, boundless abundance, unconditional love, and the peace that passes all understanding, so that all may know God wherever I walk. Rise up, my soul, and be the space and place of oneness and wholeness, of the blueprint of perfection that is back of everything, and heal the experience of dis-ease wherever I may go. Rise up, my soul, and be the words of freedom and creativity, so that all within the sound of my voice step powerfully into the fullness of their own self-esteem. Rise up, my soul, and be a gentle but relentless example of a world that works for everyone, the demonstration of a consciousness filled with compassion, acceptance, kindness, understanding, forgiveness, and love. Rise up, my soul, and be the awareness that is so steeped in its unity with God that the journey from the head to the heart, from intellect to embodiment, becomes one of ease and grace for everyone I serve. Rise up, my soul, and quicken me with passion, with boldness, with imagination, with inspiration, and with a faith so deep it cannot be shaken. And the soul answers, yes, I can do all that and more. Beautiful. And so it is. Now, please welcome back to his keyboard, the amazing Sandy Hemingway.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to actually introduce both of my songs, though I'm going to do one now and one after the message because of the way I ended up selecting them. So I got the topic, rising higher, growing deeper, and I came up with 3 songs that I thought would all fit the topic. One was a co-write I did with Amy Steinberg called Butterfly. One was a co-write I did with a woman named Phyllis Pulver called The Best in Me Is Yet to Come. And the third was Impossible Dream from Man of La Mancha. And I love all 3 songs, and I was having trouble choosing. And who do I get an email from yesterday? Phyllis Pulver. I hadn't heard from her in well over a year. She's not just a songwriter, she's also a choir director. And the email that she sent me was because she had just done an arrangement of a song for her choir, and she was sharing that MP3 with me. And the arrangement was a mashup of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis and Impossible Dream from Man of La Mancha. And so it became obvious to me, okay, I am supposed to sing the song that we wrote together and the song that she just finished arranging for her choir. And it's just a wonderful way to start the year when the universe decides to reach out and say, you are far more connected than you can possibly appreciate. And this is The Best in Me Is Yet to Come. I did the music, and Phyllis Pulver did the lyrics. a voice inside me, always saying no. I fear the choice I'm making will never let me grow. A chance is dawning every day with the rising of the sun. With this time, I'm gonna shine before this day is done. The best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to road before me, filled with joy or strife. Becoming more tomorrow is how I want to live my life. The chance is dawning every day with the rising of the sun. With this time I'm gonna shine before this day is done. To come, the best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to come. My life has been amazing. I've been blessed by every day, but I will not sit and reminisce or slowly fade away. The best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to. Best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. No matter what I may have done, the best in me is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. Thank you.
Amazing song and the way you sang it, but also for the story that reminded us about how connected we really are, that we have way more in common than not, and that is how we should be living our lives from that space, from that context. So thank you very much. Let's give him another round of applause. So I believe that at the beginning of a new year with a new yearly theme, that it's really important for all of us to be on the same page. Now, the CSL yearly theme for 2025 is growing higher, growing deeper. And at first blush, this might seem to be a little bit of an oxymoron of some sorts, right? How is it that we can both grow higher, rise higher, and grow deeper at the same time? Seems kind of odd. But the CSL Global Theme Committee affirms that the year 2025, we will be moving away from our tendency to think in binary thinking, like things have to be either or, like either this or that. And that we are actually going to be working on opening ourselves up to both and thinking, and working towards being able to really embrace all of the paradoxes and the complexities that exist in the world today. Ernest Holmes says, this holistic approach acknowledges that true wholeness requires integrating all aspects of life, moving beyond superficial spirituality towards a more profound and inclusive journey. This year, we will consistently move towards greater awareness, recognition, and appreciation of the vastness of the divine through the multifaceted nature of God found on our planet. I think it sounds exciting. It sounds like a great year. Bring it on. Now, our declaration is that this theme and 2025 in general embody the essence of emergence. Now, the definition of emergence is the process or an event of something coming into existence. It is the process of something coming into view or coming into being or coming into light. It is the process of something becoming important or prominent, or of really being exposed after a period of being concealed. Now, it is the unfolding or evolving, like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, or perhaps a chick coming out of an egg. Emergence. So let's begin with this idea of rising higher. Now, the underlying truth is that we can choose. I mean, we literally have choice. And we can choose, no matter the situation that we find ourselves in, to no longer give our power away. To no longer give our power away to someone else, or even to our own emotions. We can choose today to rise above our stories and to step into a new way of being in the world. We can choose today to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we have within us the capacity to transform our lives and really to transform the world. We can choose to rise up out of the old, and not only to rise up out of the old, but to rise up higher than we have ever risen before. We can choose that. In order to actually step into a new year and into a new life and perhaps even a new world, we have to move beyond the littleness, the fear, the doubt, the worry that we have often found ourselves stuck in, and rise into our highest and best self. Despite the appearance or the experience of challenges or obstacles or adversity, the nature of life is to always rise, to always expand, and to always evolve. Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is an inner urge in our own minds to grow, to expand, to break down the barriers of previous limitations, and to ever widen our experience. This persistent urge is a divine influence, an irresistible force, and constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience." The nature of life is our nature. And this impulse is always flowing through us, always knocking at the door of our consciousness. It is an inner divine discontent or an inner divine longing that will not leave us alone. Something within us that compels us to be more, or to do more, or to really express more. The really amazing thing about this is that each and every part of our journey is useful, and actually more than useful, but necessary for that which Spirit wants to express through and as us. not only wants to express, but wants to express uniquely as each and every single one of us in our own way, in our own individualized way. Nothing is wasted. Everything is God, and everything is good. Ernest Holmes says, this power for good uses every part of my human experience, the joyous and the challenging, the pleasure and the pain, to guide me into a deeper awareness and knowingness of itself as me. In God, nothing is wasted. All of my life experiences are used by the power of good, enabling me to help others and to bless the whole world. Everything is good. The invitation is for each of us to ask ourselves, am I willing to reinvent myself? Am I willing to become someone that I have never, ever been before? Am I willing to run and leap and soar, to do things that I have never done before? Am I willing to say the things that perhaps I do not want to say in order to become the woman or the man that I was created to be? Am I willing to believe once and for all that I am worthy and deserving of all that is inherently mine as a divine emanation of God? Am I willing? Perfect time, beginning of the year. Am I willing? The bottom line is that there is that within each and every single one of us that is willing. That spark of the divine. There is that within each and every single one of us that is unstoppable, that is inexhaustible, inextinguishable, unchangeable. Now, we may call it God, we may call it spirit, we may call it the light, we may call it Christ consciousness, we might call it Buddha, we might call it nothing. But it is that in which we live and move and have our being. It is that which supports us and guides us and guards us and loves us. It is that within us which can never, ever, ever be oppressed. Our work, right? Our work is to do whatever is necessary to reveal our innate wholeness, to reveal our unique divinity. Our highest and best expression will always emerge when the conditions are right. Just like they do for the acorn or anything and everything else in nature. It's not our job to make it happen, but it is our job to make it welcome. Our highest and best expression will always rise up out of the conditions or the situations or the circumstances of our lives. It is our nature because it is life's nature, because it is God's nature. And we were created in the image and likeness of God. Therefore, it is our nature. What I know is that as we do so in our own individual lives, within our own families, within our communities, that our raised up energy will shift the energy of those around us and inspire and encourage them to rise up too. So secondly, let's look at this idea of growing deeper. And as I sat with the second half of this yearly theme, my thoughts went in a couple of different directions. And the first direction was with the parable, one of the parables of Jesus, the parable of the sower. Now, the parable of the sower, as with all of the other parables of Jesus, is set in during the time of his life, right? So they speak about vineyards and about stewards and about coins and about fish and about seeds and about sowers. All of the basic aspects and elements of that time. The underlying truth, however, is that they are as applicable today as they were over 2,000 years ago. As with all of the parables, we have two stories that run alongside of each other. One is literal and the other is figurative. One is evident and obvious, and the other is more hidden and is really induced by our thinking about the first. They are intended to really awaken a higher meaning within us. As the name implies, the parable of the sower is about someone who is sowing seeds. It says, "A sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth. And because they had no deepness of earth, when the sun was up, the seeds were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among the thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold." Now, a modern farm machine sows in really precise and measured rows. But in days gone by, when a farmer was going to sow, then they sowed by hand. The method is called broadcasting. The farmer carries this bag of seeds over one of their shoulders, right? And then they reach in with one hand and they grab a handful of seeds, and then they spread those seeds out over the ground in a kind of a gesture that looks like, feeding some pigeons in Central Park or the ducks around my pond behind my backyard. Now, naturally, in such an operation, because they're just doing this by hand, the seeds are scattered imprecisely, right? They just kind of land wherever it is that they land. So as the farmer walks near the edges of the field, some of those seeds are bound to fall by the wayside. Some within the thorns, and some within the areas of the field that tend to be a little bit more stony than the other areas of the field. Now, while the farmer is trying to avoid planting in these areas, a few seeds are bound to fall upon them. So this then is the picture that the parable paints of a very familiar scene during that time of life. But we want to look at it a little bit more metaphysically, right? So the invitation is to think about God or universal intelligence or divine wisdom like the sower who is broadcasting truth everywhere all of the time. You with me? The truth is falling upon our minds like the seed falls upon the land. Our minds are like the soil. Different minds are of different composition. Different minds are of different quality. What our minds individually do with those seeds of truth that fall upon them is determined by the nature of our mind. This is represented in the parable by the different types of soil. Still with me? Excellent. The bottom line is that certain soils, right, allow seed to express their potentiality more than others. The analogy of our lives is that different human minds and different human beings make different and variable responses to the truth. Right? I mean, think about two people going through the exact same experience and how different they might describe it, right? Every human mind has its history. Every human mind has its conditioning. Every human mind has its training. And those things furnish the lens by which our mind sees the world. The parable points out that there are basically 4 different types of minds, described by the 4 different types of soil. First of all, there are the minds that are generally unresponsive. These are represented by the soil that's along the wayside, along the edges of the field. Some of those seeds fell there, right? And the fowls, the birds of the air, really gobbled them up really quickly, right? So the seeds had no chance to take root. Minds such as the soil by the wayside are hard and unreceptive. Perhaps they're cynical or skeptical, but generally refuse to accept anything new. People with these kinds of minds have long ago filled their minds with certain opinions and beliefs and closed off their minds, stating that they really have nothing left to learn. They are more comfortable with their own opinions than being curious about somebody else's. These minds can also include the negative minds that are mired in a philosophy of lack and limitation, or mired in a philosophy of defeat and failure. They shoot down every idea of inspiration that could come up to them or that comes to them. They shoot it down. They very rarely say yes to anything. Hard and unreceptive. The second kind of soil is illustrated by the parable is the stony ground. Now, these are the minds who respond readily enough to any really good idea or to some positive plan of action, but they cannot follow through. The extreme idealist could fall into this category. These are the people who deal exclusively with their own ideals, but not enough with the embodiment of those ideals. They can talk the talk, but they cannot walk the walk. The real world wears them down. The everyday rough and tumble of life discourages them and causes them to lose heart. They do not believe enough in the spiritual principle of living from the inside out, and they think that physical things in the external world cause other physical things. They do not believe that they live their lives from the inside out. This kind of soil does not allow them to maintain their faith and confidence and joy in the face of discouraging circumstances. The seeds cannot root deep enough to endure. Their ideals are continually rising up like a fountain within them, but circumstances in the external world are continually discouraging them from without. The third type of soil, illustrated by the parable, is equally poor for growing because seeds fall among the thorns, then the thorns rise up and they choke them off. This illustrates the mind that does not keep up on its daily spiritual practices in order to keep it healthy, in order to keep it constructive, in order to keep it positive. This simply means that for every affirmative idea that there is an opposite and what we might call negative one. And if we're not well grounded in spiritual law, or we do not have the confidence in our ability to choose what is right for us, then these two opposing ideas will quarrel within our minds, and in all probability, fear will win out over faith and choke out the young, new thought ideas or seeds. The mind that is illustrated by this soil is a mind that is preoccupied. A preoccupied mind has a previous occupant. I like that. A previous occupant, and does not give welcome to the new arrival, does not give welcome to any new thoughts. It sits in the background and the shadows, think unconscious mind, and withholds itself from the new. So, for example, a person wishes to fill their mind with positive affirmations or convictions, right? But is holding on to a grudge or a previous resentment, and does not let them move forward with those new affirmations that, drags them down, keeps them from moving in that direction. This previous occupant is getting in the way. If you are trying to create something new in your life, but you keep looking out into your life, recognizing that nothing is changing, there's a previous occupant in there that is running the show. The energy of their mind is divided between two opposites. So as we look at these different types of soil, the first is impenetrable, the second is shallow, and the third is preoccupied. They don't allow for growing deeper. The fourth soil, which is productive, must be loose and pliable. It must withstand the shock of a sudden torrential downpour and being able to absorb that. But it also must be able to withstand a prolonged drought. So it is with a productive mind. We have to cultivate and tend to the soil of our consciousness so that it is open and receptive to the seeds of truth that are constantly being broadcasted by the divine, and that they can, and that mind then can successfully sow them. The other idea that came up for me about growing deeper is reflected in a story within something called the In Touch Ministries Daily Devotional. It was from June 5th, 2024. It was about a story about a photographer who captured an interesting picture of a tree after a hurricane a few years ago. And this isn't the particular picture, but it kind of reminds me of that because it stood above the ground on what looked like stilts. Upon closer examination, however, it was easy to see that those stilts were actually the exposed root system, and that the tree had grown deep and wide, and that strength held firm even as the storm-tossed waves washed away the sand and the soil from around the trunk. And it held firm. The tree survived because of the patient inner work that it had done in creating its foundational base. For me, that patient inner work is the growing deep. The growing deep. It's a time of incubation. It's a time of becoming and not doing. It's a time of allowing and not forcing. A time of to choose patience Do you know that it takes 5 years for a bamboo seedling to, or seed to really even come out of the ground? Because it's building the root system that will enable it to grow 90 feet. So it's a time to choose patience, a time to stand in faith, a time to trust God, and to know that everything is unfolding in divine right action and in divine right timing. So the invitation is for each of us to take this time to go within and to rediscover the spark of the divine within us. And to remember that the life of God flows through us as us. Like the tree, we are able to withstand life's many challenges and to rise higher through all of the experiences of our lives when we also grow deep. The invitation over this year is to really listen for and to that inner urge within us that will not leave us alone, that compels us to be more and to express more. We can choose to rise up out of the old, and not only to rise up, but to rise up higher than we ever have risen before. The invitation over this year is for each of us to do the inner work to grow deeper. To do the inner work to prepare the soil of our consciousness for the seeds of truth that are always being broadcasted by the divine. The invitation over this year is for each of us to stand deeply grounded in our awareness of and our faith in the power and presence of the divine within us, and to know that we are capable of both growing deeper and rising higher. I, for one, am beyond excited about the transformation that is possible for each of us, both individually and collectively. And so it is. So it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. Please turn within. We can anchor this message in a moment of. As I close my eyes and turn my attention inward to the center of my being, I am acutely aware of that spark of the divine, that inner presence, that force, that knowingness, that peace, that joy, that creativity that is at the center of my being. That space, that place that arrived with me when I arrived on the planet. Not something I had to get, not something I had to look for, but something already within me. It is who and what I am. So much so that I know that everywhere that I am, God is in its fullness and in its fullness. And it can't just be true for me. It has to be true for each and every single one of us, for all sentient beings on the planet. We are all divine emanations of the divine, ambassadors of its presence on the planet. And it is from this place of a deep and abiding connection, of our unity with God, with life, and with each other, that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, and that we can and need, are encouraged, inspired to both grow deeply and to rise higher. And I claim ease and grace for each of us as we move through this year and beyond in doing so. I know that there is that within us that is constantly encouraging, constantly supporting, constantly loving us into a fuller and deeper expression of who we are at our very core. That it is always knocking on the door of our consciousness and inviting us to be more of ourselves, to show up as the man or woman that we were created to be, and to allow that expression to raise up everyone else around us. I know that as we do our inner work, we grow in consciousness. We deepen our connection to the divine. We align ourselves with the flow of life that is always flowing through us, and that because of that, we are able to withstand any circumstance, any storm, any situation, any adversity, any obstacle that appears to be in our way. We are not alone. We do not travel this world alone, but we are held in divine arms and supported as we do the work that we came here to do. So grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever said yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken, that we live our lives from the inside out. And I am affirming that this is how it works, and knowing that this truth is landing on receptive soil today, that each one of us steps powerfully into a new way of being in our lives. And so I release these words into that law, letting go and letting God be God, and I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. And this is a time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and love and warmth for ourselves and others. Together we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give. They're here on your screen, or they're on your screens at home. Visit our website at trianglecsl.org, and there's a button up in the upper right-hand corner that you can click on that says Give. Text the word GIVE using the following number, 919-629-9148, or you can mail your gift to our office at PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. I now invite everyone to place your hand on your heart with your gift, or simply with an affirmation for yourself or for loved ones. And we'll say our affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much for your generosity. And now let's please be generous as we welcome Sandy back to his piano.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to write unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know that I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.
Not fair making me follow that, Sandy. Whew. Yeah, it's powerful. Thank you. Oh, where am I? If you would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the homepage there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill out the form, and we would love to send that out to all of the ministers and practitioners to know that prayer for you during the week. If you'd like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or to Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. We would love to speak that dedication out into the universe, and you also receive lovely flowers. Now, in the comfort of your seat here at 4 Points and at home or wherever you may be watching, please stand for our brand new baby fresh January affirmations. This is a call and response, so please repeat it with meaning. As I step into a brand new year, I commit myself to rising higher and growing deeper.
As I step into a brand new year, I commit myself to rising higher and growing deeper.
In order to do this, I affirm that I am a radiant reflection of divine love and wisdom.
In order to do this, I affirm that I am a radiant reflection of divine love and wisdom.
In order to do this, I embrace divine guidance and the profound peace that it brings.
In order to do this, I embrace divine guidance and the profound peace that it brings.
In order to do this, I declare that the divine flows through me, as me, celebrating my highest good.
In order to do this, I declare that the divine flows through me, as me, celebrating my highest good.
In order to do this, I stretch beyond any belief in lack and limitation and embrace my expansive potential.
In order to do this, I stretch beyond any belief in lack and limitation and embrace my expansive potential.
I am beyond excited about the transformation that is possible for myself and for the world.
I am beyond excited about the transformation that is possible for myself and for the world.
And so it is. Amen. Woo! You may be seated. Please turn within once again as I speak a word of gratitude for today's service. So grateful in this moment for what has transpired here today, for this beautiful service. So grateful for the power and presence of Spirit, for that guiding force in our lives. So grateful to know that we are all one. Grateful for Reverend Dusty's message today, this idea of rising higher and growing deeper in this new year, taking those steps to become that fertile soil, to allow God to have its way with us. So grateful for each beautiful light that is present here today at 4 Points. So grateful for each beautiful soul that joined us in real time online, and each person that will catch this service in the future. So grateful for each of those people and their presence in this community. Grateful for Sandy and Marianne. Grateful for Ava. Grateful for this loving community and for the work that we do to create a world that works for all. And so it is.
Thank you all so very much for being here today. I love the energy in the room between the Sandy and the music and the message and all of you. It was really wonderful. There are a couple of tables along the back with some books and some movies. Please take a look at them. If you see anything you like, please take it home with you. Give it a brand new home in this brand new year. If you're called for a love offering, there's a basket that's available there, but that really, they just all want a new home. So please go ahead and do that. Let us know if you plan on joining us at Lugano's after the service today, so that we can maybe make some reservations. If you're at home and you're planning on joining us, give Heather or I a text message and let us know that. Again, welcome to our guests today. Thank you so very much for being here. Congratulations to the January birthdays. Have an absolutely magnificent week. I love you all.